This is Ableton certified trainer Orville Klein here at Full Compass. Ableton is an extremely powerful tool for any DJ. Let me show you a quick way to warp dance tracks in Live. The first step is to make sure Auto Warp Long Samples is enabled in Live's preferences. Command comma will open up our preferences and allow us to check to see if that option is enabled. You'll find it in the Record Warp Launch tab inside of our preferences. The next step is to navigate to the songs we want to warp using Live's browser. Once we've selected one, let's drag and drop it into an empty clip slot on an audio track. Live is then going to analyze our audio and make an attempt to warp this automatically for us. Live is often able to warp dance songs with about 90% accuracy. With that in mind, it's always a good idea to double check to see how accurate Live's algorithm was in warping your song. To check it, let's turn the metronome on and play it with the metronome playing. Okay. The beats of the metronome should sync up with the count of the song we're warping. And upon our initial inspection of the intro and then the outro of the song, it seems like it's been warped pretty close. However, years of warping dance songs has taught me to double check the accuracy of Live's auto warping by zooming in and taking a closer look at the transients of the audio we've just warped. We can make adjustments by holding down Shift and clicking above a warp marker to nudge our audio to the left or to the right. Let's also zoom in on the outro and take a look at one of our ending beats. As you can see, it's slightly early. We can double click to add a new warp marker right at the beginning of the transient and then snap it right on the beat where it belongs. Let's double check our intro and outro of the song with the metronome on to ensure that everything is still lined up. If our intro and outro is on, everything else in the middle should also be lined up as well. We can hit the save button in our sample controls to tell Live to remember the warping information we just saved in the corresponding sample analysis file that Live also created for this MP3 that we imported. As long as that sample analysis file is in the same folder as the song you imported, you won't have to warp the song again if you want to use it in a new Live set. Let's try warping another song. Again, Live is going to analyze our file and then make an attempt to warp this automatically for us because we have auto warp long samples enabled. But right away, it sounds like the clap isn't lined up with the second beat or second click of our metronome. We can also see that the kick drum isn't coming in on the one count of our metronome or lined up with the one count of Live's timeline. So I'm going to right click above the pseudo marker that's marking the transient right where the kick drum starts, and I'm going to choose set 1.1.1 here. This aligned our timeline so a one count or the first quarter note of our count is lined up with the beats of the song we're warping. Let's zoom in on the outro of our song to see how accurate some of our beats near the end of the song are aligned. Upon a closer inspection, I can see that one of our last kick drums on a one count is a little bit late, so we can nudge that over so it comes right in on a solid bar. Now that our intro and outro is on, you'll see that everything else in the middle is also aligned. You may also notice now that where the one marker starts in our timeline is not with the actual one of the song we're warping. We can adjust this by dragging our start marker to the -16 where our track is currently starting, and then resetting the 1.1.1 of our timeline to start there instead. Now visually, the bars and beats of Live's timeline line up exactly to the bars and beats of our song. We'll hit the save button to make sure we won't have to warp this song again in a future project. To learn more about Ableton Live or Ableton Push, go to fullcompass.com or contact your Full Compass sales pro.